From Sonic the Hedgehog to Star Wars, are fans too entitled? Oh, you people are really starting to... Hello, everyone. I am Mecha Random 42, the one, the only, the original, your favorite YouTube harpy. This is a BBC hit piece. Do you really think that complaining about... Oh, I gotta calm down for a second. And you know what? This is the second time this week when we gotta do this. Bring in the theme music. No, I'm not putting this down. I was gonna put this down. No. Is it sad that I have to call out the BBC? The BBC, like, they used to be decent. They used to give us stuff like Red Dwarf and Monty Python and all the good things, you know, until the world went dumb in the head and we get this crap.
I like science.
And that's Star Trek, by the way. That's not BBC, but you know, Star Trek used to be smart too, and everything else has just gone to this.
This is so fucking cool.
It is fucking cool.
No, it's really not, sweeties. You have got to be out of your minds. Did you guys not see the Sonic design? Like, seriously, we got the Sonic design that I gotta bring these up. What were they thinking? Sonic looks like this. This is how they drew Sonic for years and years and years. He's always pretty much looked the same. He's been a little more pixelated. He's been tweaked and kind of enhanced a little bit here and there over the years, but he's never been completely redesigned like that. Oh, and of course, we need to get that nightmare screen thing off the screen as soon as possible. The redesign is fine, but the original is just, This BBC hit piece, though, I mean, come on. That's all this is. That is all this is. It's just a flat-out hit piece against anybody who complains about anything. The redesign of the new big screen Sonic in response to a fan backlash shows how people power is now shaping pop culture. But what does that mean for creativity? Well, if creativity is your argument, like I said, who is this? Stephen Kelly. Like I said, established character. There, you don't need any creativity when you don't change something that's already there. Somebody else already created this. You want creativity, make your own thing. Make your own new thing. Don't come in and piss in somebody else's pool because you didn't like the color it was, right? Changing him from this to this is no different than making him neon green. It is, you know what? You want creativity, make your own thing. But here we go. What do they say? What does Stephen Kelly say is wrong? Okay, Kelly. In the spring of 2019, director Jeff Fowler announced that the titular character of his new film, the live-action adaptation of Sonic the Hedgehog, will be totally redesigned in the wake of fan backlash in the debut trailer. Oh, I reacted to that trailer. Not good. It was not good. Thank you for the support and the criticism, he tweeted. This message is loud and clear. You aren't happy with the design and you want changes. It's going to happen, and it did. And we all went and saw it. You guys go and see Sonic. It was actually a good movie. We're not going to spoil anything. But it was cute and it was good. And the fact that he was so cute, at least for me, worked a lot better than... Well, we're not going to show Freak Show Sonic. Not right now. The Sonic, which whizzes into cinemas today, no longer possesses a full set of human teeth, no longer two little beady eyes, and in general no longer embodies the traits of and silhouette of attention. No, it was just nightmarishly freaky, and we already saw it. We don't need to see it again. The ability of the fans to shape and change the art they enjoy is nothing new. In 1893, the reaction to Arthur Conan Doyle killing off Sherlock Holmes was so intense that he eventually resurrected him. So, yeah, we've done this before. We've done this countless times. The 20s fan groups wrote thousands of letters to movie studios demanding their favorite actor be given better roles. It's the same thing. Exactly. No, that's not the game I played as a kid. You need to fix that or I'm not giving you any money. Again, it's an established thing. It has, if your creativity is only as deep as something that's already established, maybe you're not a creative person. And maybe you are a copy and paste director like an Alex Kurtzman or a J.J. Abrams type, in my opinion, because we all know, disclaimer, 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 also sexy Batwoman, because just because I feel like it. I like looking at that sometimes. And it makes me less angry. Sometimes I need to be less angry. Game of Thrones. Oh god. The enormous success of Game of Thrones helped introduce geek culture and its brand of participatory fandom to the mainstream. Yeah, but Game of Thrones was kind of like a geek show that was just for everybody. It wasn't really a geek show necessarily. You didn't have to be a geek to like it. And a lot of these things, a lot of our geek fandoms and franchises, you don't have to be a geek to enjoy. But with something like, at least the way Star Trek used to be, it really, really helps. Especially with the higher, heavier, sciencey based things. It does help to be really naturally interested in science and technology and that sort of thing. Yet the unprecedented decision to redesign Sonic the Hedgehog to surrender so transparently to audience wishes represents something of a landmark in the modern relationship between artist and fan. Oh, no, we're not just fans. We're consumers. I always consider myself and my particular group of YouTube channels that we all associate with and subscribe to be consumer advocates. And that's what we are. We are a consumer advocacy group. We don't like seeing people insulted, tricked, deceived into parting with their hard-earned money, especially for subpar entertainment. And that is one of the biggest issues that we have. And this is why we formed, because we're tired of throwing our money at these studios who just call us a bunch of sexist, racist man babies and call us all toxic and call us all trolls and bots and everything else under the sun and lie about us in these hit pieces. The latter of whom, thanks to the connective power of the internet and changing media landscape, has never been so influential, so vocal, and some would argue so entitled. No. I mean, you're not entitled to? Studios, you're not entitled to our money. You're not. We don't have to spend it on you. Not only that, here's a great time for this. Movies are not mandatory. You go to teespring.com/Mecha merch. You probably see it in your app. Movies are not mandatory. We also have Justice for John Connor. Should fans have this much of a say in the pop culture they consume? Well, yes, consume. We are paying for it. We are the consumer. The customer is always right. Did you ever remember that saying? We're the customer. You know, you can say it's art or not. And the fact that you say and you hide behind this, oh, it's art, it's art, it's art. Don't criticize our art. Art is subjective, right? But not everybody is going to like everything. And expecting... Let's say you're a Star Wars fan. I'm a Star Wars fan. I like Star Wars. I skipped episode 2 in the theater because I didn't like episode 1 that much. I did not have to. Like I said, movies are not mandatory. You do not have to go and see every movie in the theater just because you're a fan of the thing. It is okay to skip something. It is okay to say, you know what? I'm going to save my money this time around. To hate something everybody else hates. You don't have to love something everybody else loves. It's all right. And it's okay to not pay for something you don't want to buy. If you don't want to see it, you don't have to. I don't understand why these people don't understand this. So here we are with Jim Carrey's quote, "I don't know quite how I feel about the audience being in on the creation of it while it's happening," said Jim Carrey, who plays Sonic's nemesis, Dr. Robotnik, and he was freaking awesome in that. If you liked Jim Carrey in the 90s and in Living Color, and go watch this movie. When asked about it last year, "I believe in auteurs, I believe in creatives, I believe in having them do it. As far as something like a Sonic character, that's something people have a sense of ownership from their childhood. So, of course, they're going to get involved if they can. We'll see if it's a good thing or a bad thing." Well, guess what? I can guarantee you the Mario movie that they made way back when, you guys remember that one with John Leguizamo and Dennis Hopper? That one probably would have done better had they said, "Hey, fans, here's Bowser." No. And have we been able to instantly give them feedback? Because remember, back then, we didn't have the ability to give them instant feedback. We didn't have the ability to say, wait a minute. Can we make it a little closer to the video game? Maybe now's a great time to do a 3D animated sort of Mario video game movie. Because we've already had Detective Pikachu. We've already had Sonic prove that You can make a video game movie that people want to see as long as you do it right. As long as you do it the right way. And this one I think was done pretty much the right way. As right as you can get it. I enjoyed it, and I'm not even a Sonic fan. How the geeks inherited the earth. The last decade or so has witnessed huge changes from the awareness and perception and tools of fandom in terms of television and film, and the enormous success of Game of Thrones and the MCU. I kind of blame the Big Bang Theory on this too. And at the same time, the internet, and more specifically social media, has amplified the fans' voices, while also breaking down the barriers between them and the artists they love and hate. And that's kind of where I feel weird now, because now you instantly have access to everybody who makes these movies. You know, you can just send a message to John Boyega and say, hey, I loved Finn. What the crap happened? Why did your character have nothing to do? You know, you can do that right now. And as somebody as old as I am, it's odd to me, and it feels very presumptuous to just go to somebody who made the film to tell them it was bad. I decided to make a YouTube channel saying, hey, I didn't like Star Trek Discovery. Hey, I didn't like The Last Jedi. Hey, fix these things. I didn't go to the creators themselves. I decided to rant and release my frustration in a creative way myself, creating something new. But here's the thing. A lot of people just get on there and say, J.J. Abrams, you suck, blah, blah, blah. And we saw that with the Raylos sending J.J. Abrams the death threats. We've seen all of these things before. And I think that's definitely something that they kind of touch on in this article, but they don't separate the people who genuinely want good stuff versus just the noise, you know, the noisy people who just want to scream about how much they hate Star Wars. Just because they didn't get the right ending, just because Ben Solo wasn't a Force ghost at the end, and here's where we get into the Star Wars stuff. Now, I skipped over some backstory. If you do want to check out this article, it's definitely an interesting read, even though I completely disagree with most of it, because it kind of makes its point and then it disproves its point back and forth here. So they continue here, this kind of thinking, and they're talking about like the massive fandoms, you know, and anytime you have a fandom, fans are great, fandoms are terrible, but I like to separate myself and say, I'm a customer, you know, I like these things and I enjoy these things, but I can detach from some of these things sometimes and say, you know what, no, I'm not spending money on this unless you fix this, this, and this, because it's my money to spend now, isn't it? This kind of thinking, in turn, gives rise to the kind of behavior that has come to be known as fan entitlement. Oh, really? In what universe are you entitled to my money? You're not. When you buy a product, when you spend your hard-earned attention, dedication, and time, why should it not be exactly what you wanted? Okay, here's the thing. You're deciding that we all have these specific expectations. No, I think a lot of us have this expectation to be treated like a customer and to be treated with some form of respect. A lot of us don't really have a specific and this and this and this and this need to happen. We have a few things that are like, wait a minute, you should have done this instead. Or why the crap is Princess Leia flying throughout space, the vacuum of space? In The Last Jedi, why the crap was that happening? There's a lot of concerns and questions. I had no expectation going into Force Awakens, Rise of Skywalker, because I am not writing these movies, but I did expect to be entertained and to have a good Star Wars movie because I was spending top dollar on these movie tickets. I don't expect to be called every name in the book, like troll, Russian bot, toxic man baby, incel, whatever, because I said, hey, Rise of Skywalker was not a good movie. Hey, Last Jedi kind of hurt the franchise. It tanked Star Wars. It takes Star Wars. And if you think that when I was a little kid in the 1980s thinking this was going to be Star Wars, you can't stop me, I'm a Jedi from was actually happening, you're wrong. I was not thinking that. I was thinking Star Wars. It's Yoda, it's Ewoks, it's Luke and Leia, it's Han Solo, it's blasters and Chewbacca. I didn't think it was some Twilight knockoff. If I wanted to watch Twilight, I would have, and that's what they turned it into. So I didn't have specific expectations, but I expected it to be Star Wars and not Twilight. Really. And the same thing with Star Trek. I expect Star Trek, not whatever the crap this is.
This is so fucking cool.
It is fucking cool.
I mean, come on. You have some certain expectations of existing franchises. It's not that these creative types are going in there and actually doing anything other than just making a bunch of changes just because they didn't create the characters in the first place and they don't care. They continue, it's a sense of ownership that was at the heart of the last 2 decades' most notorious pop culture controversies, the last series of Game of Thrones and 2017's Star Wars The Last Jedi, both of which, in what is surely not a coincidence, were continuations of stories that did not involve their original creators and instead were overseen by professional writers who were fans. Were they really, or did they say, yeah, I'm a fan, hell, I'll be a fan of anything if you pay me enough money for it. That's how these people are. Is that what they said? Because I'm pretty sure that's what they said. They're like, oh yeah, of course, because you're not going to get a job on something where you're making millions and millions and say, no, I can't stand this thing. Come on. You're using this like it's a fact that needs to be included in this article. No, anybody's a fan of anything if they're paid enough for it. That is the point of this. Whose authority to tell those stories could be questioned. And that's the other thing. They didn't have the connection to it. They didn't care. They weren't the original creators. And that's the big problem. They're continuations and cash grabs and copy and paste traces of these things. They're not even the same. You're not making something original. You're just tracing and outlining and tweaking and changing a couple of little things. And that's all they did. Force Awakens was basically a remake of Star Wars. And I still call it Star Wars. And I was going to say Episode 4, A New Hope. But I'm like, no, I'm just going to say Star Wars. And that is the problem here, is that they don't understand that. The former was fairly straightforward. The last series of Game of Thrones, as also agreed by many professional critics, was a disappointing end to the series, in which many fans had invested 8 years of their lives. Yeah, we're investing our time, most importantly, we're investing our money. And you know what we have to do to get money? To buy a big box set of Game of Thrones that's over $100, most people have to work for at least a full day of a job that they might not want to go to, right? I was making $35 a day when I was working at retail, right? When I was doing retail. And that was considered reasonable, and that was after taxes. This is the thing. People do not always want to give you their hard-earned money, especially when you're just going to call them a bunch of trolls. That's the problem. Yeah, and among other things, it resulted in a petition for more than 1 million signatures for HBO to remake the last series without incompetent showrunners. Ridiculous? Yes. No, it's not. It's really not. It's basically sending a message. And of course, nobody thought they were going to remake it. But it sends a message. We do not want garbage. Stop charging us money for trash. A vocal minority of Star Wars fans despise Last Jedi so much they clogged the internet for months with abuse, especially directed towards actress Kelly Marie Tran. Oh, guess what? I've never seen proof of that. Prove it, because I have proof of who actually started those rumors. Okay, The Last Jedi was a bit more complicated. Directed by Rian Johnson, the second in the latest Star Wars trilogy was a film that aspired to show that stylistically bold and thematically challenging filmmaking was still possible within the constraints of the franchise system. Many critics and fans adored it, but a vocal minority. Were we really? Because Solo lost money. Were we really a minority when we said, hey, we paid money for this and it was bad, and you destroyed a lot of these characters and now there's nothing to do with the next movie because you killed off Luke Skywalker instead of, Princess Leia, who you probably should have let die? No, they didn't think of that. Yeah, the older Luke Skywalker would not be more complex than a leveled up video game character. They despised it so much they clogged the internet for months of vitriol. See, and this is the shit. This is why we don't spend money on these movies, because these sort of articles go out there and they paint us like we're the negative thing, like we're the bad thing. Guess what? Sonic the Hedgehog is making money. It's number 1 at the box office. It's beating Birds of Prey. I am so tired of these articles that just go out of their way to blame us for everything. Oh, here we go. Ghostbusters 2016, where it all started, where they started blaming the fans, blaming the customers. This is as stupid as going to McDonald's and ordering a Big Mac, and what you get is a giant turd on a tortilla. One thing doesn't even belong on a food menu item. The other thing, they don't even sell at McDonald's. So come on. And that is pretty much the thing that we got with Star Wars The Last Jedi, with Ghostbusters 2016, with all of these things that they come in and they steal the existing property of, but even though they have the license and the rights and they're legally allowed to do it, they're still stealing characters that somebody else created to go in and change them and tweak them and then insult us for using it. It's like somebody buying McDonald's, right? It's like Kentucky Fried Chicken buying McDonald's, but you're not, and I have fast food on the brain, I know, but you're not getting a Big Mac. You're still getting the tortilla on a turd just because somebody else came in and bought it and you're getting crap. That's not what we ordered. That's not what we wanted. And they have the nerve to insult us for not wanting to buy it. Oh, and then they go to the isms and the misogynies and all that crap. It's not it, you stupid people. I don't understand what gets in their brains where they think this is accurate. Who are you trying to convince? And the nerve of the BBC to put this shit out where they know they gotta charge people. Oh yeah, there's a BBC article too. They have the nerve to charge people for the Doctor Who public service announcements every week. And they get into the Doctor Who stuff too. And then they go into, oh, everybody's all right, blah, 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 blah. You know what? So this is all the same bullshit, different day. We've heard this all before. You're just recycling and regurgitating the same barf that we've already smelled and tried to avoid stepping in for the last 2 years. And as much as you keep puking it back at us, you know what? This is the exact same article I've read for the last 2 years on this channel. They're going to call us all a bunch of alt-right trolls, racist, toxic, sexist man babies, incels, Russian bots, you name it. They're going to call us that. And you know what do I say? Movies are not mandatory, bitches. We do not need to buy your stuff. We do not need to give you 1 cent. Stop insulting us. We don't need your crap. I got a shelf full of DVDs behind me that I never have the time to watch because they keep trying to put out a new Star Wars movie every 6 months. Well, you know what? I got Star Wars movies. I can watch the good ones. There's 3 of them, okay? I can watch Star Trek all day long. I don't need the new stuff. It's not like it's going to not exist if they're not making new stuff, because this new stuff isn't even Star Trek.
I like science.
And the new Star Wars is barely even Star Wars.
You can't stop me, I'm a Jedi from Jakku.
I'm tired of their crap. And I don't have to buy it from them. And you know what? We reward the good stuff, like Sonic. When Sonic got the message that we didn't want to buy their product, they changed it. Said, no, let's remake it for you. That's what a chef does. A chef will go in and they will make it to order. Let's say you order a steak medium well and they give it to you mooing. They're going to go in and they're going to fix it, aren't they? And that's what they did here. And that's what I expect when I'm buying a product. Tell me what you guys think in the comments section below. I am Mecha Random 42. I'll see you guys later. Bye. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button. And if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye.